Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this meeting of the Mid Sussex District Council Cabinet. I'm Councillor Jonathan Ash-Edwards, and for the benefit of members of the public watching, to my right and in front of me are members of the Council's Cabinet who are participating in this meeting today, and on my left are members of the Council's management team who will be supporting us in our meeting. I'm going to start off for the benefit of those present by reading the Chairman's safety announcement. The building fire alarm signal is a continuous two-tone alarm. On hearing the evacuation alarm, please leave the building by the nearest marked exit route. Follow the green signs to the assembly point, which is the large staff car park opposite the entrance to the building. Anyone who cannot use the stairs will be helped by officers present after other people have left. Do not return to the building until told it is safe to do so by an authorised officer. And if I could remind everyone to turn mobile phones to silent, please. The first item on our agenda this afternoon is to receive any declarations of interest from members in respect of any matter on the agenda. Are there any declarations, please, colleagues? There are no declarations, thank you. Item 2 is to receive apologies for absence. I think we have apologies from Simon Hughes, one of the Council's directors. Item 3, to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on the 6th of February, which are in our packs, colleagues. If I can ask members to use the voting system to confirm whether you're happy that they are an accurate record of that meeting, please. And that has been unanimously agreed, so those minutes are agreed. Thank you. Item 4 is to consider any items the leader agrees to take as urgent business. There are none. So we'll move to item 5, the performance monitoring report for the third quarter of 2022-23, and the report is going to be introduced by Louise Duffield, Director of Resources and Organisational Development. Thank you, Louise.
Apologies for tech failure. I would just add to the report that this item went to scrutiny last week and was incredibly well received, and a good debate was held about a number of the indicators. And in introducing this report, I would note that the vast majority of indicators are very much in the positive, and the couple that are amber or red are those to which we've had external challenges. So, for example, some of the weather around refuse collections and some of the additional burdens that have been placed on us with Revs and Bens. And as we noted at the scrutiny committee, in terms of Revs and Bens, the indicators on quality remain incredibly high, and that's been the team's focus. So I'll invite questions from Cabinet.
Thank you very much, and a number of us were present at the scrutiny meeting last week to listen to that debate. Colleagues, are there any comments or questions on the report before us? Councillor Salisbury.
Thank you. One of them is more of a request than anything else, I think. A number of issues that are in the performance which relate to either street cleaning or dog bins. I know that we don't want to get too bogged down in small matters, but I think one of the frustrations that I know that some individual members have in the way that this comes through is that nobody understands the schedule of how it's done. And I just feel that it would probably benefit all of the community, both parish councils as well, if there was an access to the schedule of how that's achieved, if that was possible. I just ask for you to go away and have a look at whether that's something you can do. And one other thing that I'd like to ask a question on, if I may, which is in my own area, so forgive me because I probably have an idea of what the answer would be. But on page 26, when we talk about cumulative number of affordable homes delivered, it wasn't discussed at the scrutiny committee, but that figure of 288 is absolutely stunning. It goes to show that we're providing good quality affordable homes for our residents who desperately need them. And I suspect that because that's quite an old number, there might be an update of where we are today. If one of the officers has an answer to that, please.
Thank you. Judy Holmes.
Yes, thank you. I can. It is an old number because it relates to Q3. To date, we've had even more success, and we've delivered 355 affordable housing units to date. Clearly, we're approaching the end of the year, so we're hoping that we'll be able to provide a further update as we get closer to the end of the year.
Yes, of course.
If I could just come back on that, Chairman, I think that's really worth noting. This must be one of the best performing councils in the south of England, I should think, on provision of affordable homes, and we shouldn't lose track of it. Thank you.
Completely agree with that. Louisa, do you want to come back on Councillor Salisbury's other points?
Yes, and I'll also represent Simon here in reminding us of the schedule of bins that we maintain and schedule of particularly dog bins that other people maintain. So I think the two in conjunction we can have a look at.
Thank you. I'll go to Councillor Cromie next.
Thank you. My point kind of follows on from Councillor Salisbury's, I think, but I just wanted to acknowledge that the number of households living in temporary accommodation continues to fall. I know at scrutiny we've discussed those numbers over a long period of time as they continue to decline, and I understand that there are the complexities around some of the residents being in temporary accommodation, being there for a longer period of time because they have more complex needs, and that is demonstrating the thorough job that the housing team are doing to make sure that when they are housed, these residents are housed in suitable properties. However, I think for those who are living in temporary accommodation, it is a really beneficial number to see that declining, to know that there is a good news story there.
Thank you. Councillor Webster.
Thank you, Leader. I too wanted to make a comment about the delivery of affordable homes and the numbers of people who are now not living in temporary accommodation, because those upheavals in family life they impact all three children's lives and impact on their future chances. So I think it's really important that we acknowledge that, those efforts, and also the way in which mould in affordable housing and in social housing has been addressed in this district. And I think we've done a very good job in following up with the housing associations and so on in terms of environmental health. And I also want to just highlight the number of disabled facilities grants being 116 in this report period. And I think that is significant because in 6 months of the year we've enabled over 100 people or couples to remain in their homes, which is really important when people are either disabled or nearing the ends of their lives, that they're able to stay in the home that they've lived in previously. I also want to highlight the land charges figure, 100%. The percentage of plans received by building control which are checked within 15 working days, 99%. There are some really good figures in this report under quite difficult circumstances at times. So I think the Chief Executive and her deputy can be very proud of the performance of officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Webster. Councillor Demir.
Me? Yes, hi, thank you. Yes, well done, especially it's good to see that when people complain about us, that we've responded immediately. That's 100%, and that is really good news. I have one question, which I know that somebody can answer. On page 15, our waste and outdoor services, the percentage satisfied with refuse collection. And I note that you will be doing a perpetual online survey. I just wondered when that might be up and running and when the customer satisfaction survey on our 123 collection might be reported to scrutiny or elsewhere. And there was a third thing, but I can't find it. So I am delighted personally at the way that our visitors to all our 3 leisure centres, which we've kept open during COVID, are just rising higher and higher. And that's brilliant news that we were able to keep them open when all else was crumbling around us.
Thank you, Councillor Demir. Councillor Hillier.
Thank you. Yes, like colleague.
Answer to the survey.
Sorry, apologies. I'll
Sorry.
come to Mr Addington.
So 1, 2, 3 will come back in the first round of the municipal year.
Yes, so in the first scrutiny of the next municipal year, we'll be reporting back on those surveys.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier.
Yeah, thank you. Like everybody else, compliments to the officers. A lot of really good news in here. Particularly impressed in these times to see the percentage of rent collection around the orchards at 98% over a target. I think that's very good news, and the increase in footfall, very, very good. I was just wanted to query, and it's a bit in the weeds, I know this is cabinet, but on page 16, again, we're looking at the household waste. I was curious by the comment. I'm just looking for officers to explain why, when there's snow, you tend to see more use of the black bin. And it says increase the amount of cardboard rejected at the curbside, which suggests to me that there's maybe a large amount of cardboard that's collected that's not actually in a blue bin. And is this something we need to think about because the bins aren't big enough, or there's a lot of commercial stuff ending up? And so that's those 2 questions. And the last one, congratulations on the customer satisfaction scores, as everybody else has said, that's excellent. And congratulations also, but concerning the number of FOI requests, that's a huge increase. And I think for the officers to have dealt with the percentage, I think it's outstanding. Is there any learning there, or is it just is what it is? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louise.
So the relationship around snow and waste is snow means less collections means prioritisation, which means black bins first, and snow means soggy cardboard, which is not suitable for recycling, if that helps.
I guess if I come back to the query is, why is the cardboard not inside the blue bins where it belongs?
So that's Rob helping me with that. That's about people having excess cardboard that doesn't fit into their bins.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I haven't got any further comments from colleagues, so I'll just endorse what's been said. Very pleasing overall performance for the quarter, and I think read alongside the budget reports where we've been able to bring the budget in line to a balance. I think overall that's a very positive picture for our residents and local services. So thank you. I'll take Cabinet members to the recommendations on page 7. In paragraph 3, we're requested to note the performance in the third quarter of the year and identify any areas where further reporting or information is required. I don't think we need to do that formally, so if I could ask members to just vote on that recommendation, please. And that has been unanimously agreed. We'll move on to item 6, the Centre for Outdoor Sport. We've got both an open paper, colleagues, and an exempt paper, so we'll take the open paper first, and then we'll go into exempt to receive that exempt paper. This report's going to be introduced by Rob Anderton, Assistant Director for Commercial Services and Contracts. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Chairman. So the report updates Cabinet on progress with the Centre for Outdoor Sports project and seeks approval for the project scope and for the preparation and submission of a reserved matters planning application for the scheme. Over the last couple of weeks, in support of this work, we've been undertaking a coordinated communications and engagement programme, which has included a range of member briefings alongside the production of a community newsletter and the holding of a public engagement event at the Triangle Leisure Centre last week. The engagement event was very well attended. We calculated around over 500 people turned up throughout the day and engaged with our officers and consultants, and the plans were generally very well received. We're getting a lot of valuable feedback also through the engagement hub, where we're showing the plans online. And it's clear from both of these channels that people are generally really positive about the plans, endorse the proposed approach. I think there's a general understanding that the Centre for Outdoor Sports is part of our wider strategy for sports clubs and leisure facilities across the district. And there's an acknowledgement that we're separately talking to a number of clubs and sporting groups regarding their specific plans and aspirations where they can't be met at the Centre for Outdoor Sports. So all the feedback that we've received so far is going to be fed into a statement of community involvement, which will support the reserved matters application when we submit it, and we're aiming to do that in June this year. And in the meantime, we're asking Cabinet today to agree the proposed project scope and to approve the preparation and submission of the reserved matters application. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Rob. Colleagues, perhaps I'll invite the Deputy Leader and Portfolio Holder, Councillor Darcy, to start.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Rob, for that introduction, and indeed thank you to you and all the officer team and our consultants who have done such a good work to get us to this place today, and it's a very exciting project that we can look forward to. Notwithstanding, it's also quite an ambitious project as well, just with the timeline, and I think the idea that the facilities could be ready for next summer is is absolutely fantastic, and clearly is going to need some careful project management to ensure that's the case. Thank you as well for the comments on the engagement exercise at the Triangle, and I know you said you are getting feedback from residents and people through the engagement hub. Just was going to ask whether you anticipate any further changes being made in response of feedback. I know we've spoken to a lot of sports teams, both in person and online, in making these refined proposals. One of the questions I would have is just your thoughts again on the 60-metre running straight and just the surface of that, and that you're comfortable that's the right surface. So I wonder whether it could be looked at again as and when it goes in. One of the other comments I've been receiving is just comments regarding the drainage on those junior pitches in time. Just some people concerned about like waterlogged pitches, but I think it might be, I think we've got an opportunity there, and I'd be grateful for your thoughts in terms of how we can manage the drainage position there. Others have asked whether we are being ambitious enough in terms of the 3G pitches, and it's my understanding that they are perfectly adequate, as it were, or just exactly what's required for the level of quality standard that those pitches will be used for. So again, I'd just be grateful for your comments on that. And I think part of those questions come from the fact that sports clubs currently use their facilities elsewhere as well, don't they, for first team matches, where they have their own clubs and club houses. And I just was going to take this opportunity, as I'm sure you're aware, that obviously we also, alongside this exciting project, are supporting the sports clubs with their own centres and ambitions for their own facilities there. So it's a multi-pronged attack in terms of development and improvement to sports facilities in Burgess Hill, and in fact for the benefit of wider Mid-Sussex residents. So I'd just be grateful for your thoughts on those points raised, but I'm very excited about the project and look forward to supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Chairman. So yes, the There is no expectation that further changes will be made to the scheme. We did have very constructive and helpful feedback from a range of different sports clubs and prospective users of the site when we were down at the Triangle, and we're continuing to get that, as I said, through the engagement hub. And yes, there are representations around running, as there are around hockey and paddle tennis and various other things. But we think that the consultation that we've done, the engagement that we've done with both the clubs and the national governing bodies, has culminated in the right solution for the site. Certainly in respect of athletics, I think England Athletics are very clear around the strategic need and the fact that that's already met elsewhere within the local area. Drainage on junior pitches. This will be a brand new site with newly installed drainage in it. So the widely known sort of challenges that we have with clay soil around here, this will be a premium site. It will be brand new. It won't be retrofitted, and actually we're very confident that this will be a high standard facility that will be able to take considerable use. And obviously the 3G pitches are going to address an awful lot of that capacity because they can be used 24/7 pretty much. So yes, and then just acknowledging the point that you raised, Councillor Belsey, around this is absolutely a multi-pronged approach. A lot of the conversations that we had with prospective users was the fact that they still wanted to retain their home grounds. They wanted to work with us to continue to improve those and address any needs that they had, but they saw this as a really valuable ancillary facility to support their activities in district, in town, and help them to grow. So I think this complements those other pieces of work that we're doing.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier.
Thank you. Yeah, a very exciting project, and I see this vision of just Burgess Hill, this facility providing particularly for around youth training, encouraging facilities, lots of young people to play sport, which is absolutely brilliant. And also, I probably declare I'm a member of one of the 3 local hockey clubs, which are about 15 or 16 sides, all struggling to cope with one pitch. So I'm delighted to hear you're doing a multi-pronged approach, which is fabulous. The question I wanted to ask, just in terms of joined up thinking, obviously we've got the prospective school that's going in at Brookley, and I'm not aware yet the detail of what provision is there. Just a sense check that it fits with what we're providing at the centre and there's not going to be any duplication. That was it, thank you.
Judy Holmes.
Thank you. Yeah, I can confirm that I think you mean in the secondary school on Brookley that's in development. Yeah, there is a condition included in the planning permission that requires the school to make their facilities available to the community through a community use scheme. And the facilities are, I think, externally, there's a floodlit artificial turf pitch. There's a multi-use games area, which will consist of 3 full-size netball courts with overlapping markings for 3 basketball courts and 3 tennis courts. There's 6 grass pitches for hockey, football and rugby, a grass athletics track and an indoor sports hall.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you very much. Councillor Webster.
Thank you, Leader. I just wanted to point out that this paper comes to us at a time when we've already got a high base of sporting facilities across the district, outdoor play spaces, etc. We also have 3 leisure centres, which Councillor De Mere has already spoken about, which are a priority for this council. Across the district, and there are many districts that only have 1, and we have 3, all well equipped, and they've had a significant amount of development in all the time that I've been a councillor in terms of maintenance, refurbishment, reordering the offer that has changed as fashions change. And I think that needs to be acknowledged, as well as the fact that last week I signed off as a cabinet member approval the LCWIP, the Local Cycling and Walking Infrastructure Plan, which is a 10-year plan to develop cycling and walking infrastructure across Mid Sussex for West Sussex, because they are the responsible party. But we have put that report together so they have a clear sense of where we want the infrastructure to go, and I think that's important. And Mr. Anderton used the word a premium brand new site for the Centre for Outdoor Sport. And this is coming about because of the developments on Brookley by Homes England. And I think Homes England need to be acknowledged in this as well, because they have brought together a range of landowners over the years. And we tend to have short memories on these things as a high-performing council, because we move on to the next thing and the next thing. And actually, this has been an exemplar development from day one when Homes England came on board, and I'm very grateful that this council has had Homes England as a partner. Thank you.
Absolutely, Councillor Webster, thank you. Councillor Demir.
Thank you. Yes, it was a really good exhibition last Thursday. And what came over was the interest. I mean, there were people looking and wanting to know more even before you'd got the boards up. It was really good news, and they all wanted to know this, that. I know that you will have taken away any thoughts they had. Certainly, I didn't hear anybody saying, where's the so-and-so? There was a little concern over the number of toilets, I seem to remember, but these are details which will be looked at as we go through. So, well done. My only question, which is slightly flippant, on page 29, step 5 works, that this will be upgrading the football and club house when required, or when football is played at a sufficiently high standard. It's a bit cheeky to say to people, you've got to play better. But I am being slightly flippant. But perhaps it could be explained that it's all about leagues, and chicken and eggs. But it did make me chuckle. Thank you.
I'll ask Rob to just respond to that.
Aspirations. Thank you, Councillor Webster.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yes, so absolutely. That's just to confirm. Yes, probably could have been termed better, but that's exactly what it's about. It's about Step 5 facility enables clubs to escalate to a certain level with stands and particular club facilities that is not currently required based on all the consultation we've done with the local sporting community.
Thank you, Councillor Salisbury.
Thank you, Chairman. Very little to say other than what a good report this is, because we've all been listening to various arguments around how this site will be developed, how you bring the clubs together and the rest of it. And I have to say, in my mind, on occasions, I've wondered how we could get a synopsis of that read in a way that you could clearly understand it. And actually this does. It works really well for me. It has answered a lot of the questions that I've built up over the months and indeed years now that we've been discussing this. And I particularly like the little summary on paragraph 16, which shows out how the priorities are going to work and gives us an instant image of the future of that site. And it's not easy to put together something as concise as this when you're talking about a complex project costing £6 million. So I'm fully behind this. I think an excellent piece of work that has going to bring huge benefits for the district as we progress through the development of this site. So thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. I think this is a really good example of what we've said for a while now around the importance of having infrastructure coming right alongside new homes and new development. And I think we've worked very well, as Councillor Webster said, with Homes England in terms of securing the maximum possible land and funding. I'd like to thank Councillor Belsey and the officer team for the work they've been doing engaging with local sports clubs. I think that the proposals we've got in front of us have really benefited from that work, so thank you for that. And I think this is an incredibly exciting project for Mid-Sussex. When I talk to other council leaders and I say to them, have you got 8 hectares of new sporting facilities being delivered in your district? They sort of look at me as if I've just landed from outer space somewhere. So we're in a really fortunate position to be able to provide these new sporting facilities for our district. Looking forward to seeing the project progress. Thank you. I'll take Cabinet to we should come back to the open recommendations. We'll go into the exempt item just to receive that report. The live stream is back up. Thank you very much. For the benefit of members of the public watching online, we went into the exam session to consider information that is commercially confidential. And we're now coming back into the open report. I'm going to take colleagues to the recommendations on page 27, paragraph 3. Cabinet is recommended to agree the proposed project scope, approve the preparation and submission of the reserve matters planning application to align with the proposed project scope, and note that further reports will be brought forward in the new financial year to seek authority to progress the procurement of a delivery partner and to secure agreement to the proposed approach to project implementation. If I could ask members to vote on that recommendation, please. Thank you. That vote has been unanimously agreed. that brings us to the end of today's meeting, indeed the last Cabinet meeting of this council term. So can I just thank colleagues and our officers who supported us over the last few years for all of their work and contributions to this meeting and these meetings. Thank you.